Welcome back for another video. Be sure to like and subscribe and let's jump right into it. In this video, we're just going to prepare to trade the NASDAQ for the upcoming trading week of April the 14th through April the 18th. And this is all so I can just call my trade successfully in the Market Mentors Discord community, where I like to give my analysis every single day, show my new positions that I'm taking as I take them, and then show my winning trades and have Q&A with my students, and as well as give other resources to help you guys be successful and profitable. So check the link in the description for that, and I'll see you guys there. So just getting back to it, we're just going to prepare to trade for the upcoming week and just go through these steps that I always go through to help me build a consistent routine of how I approach the market. So just going to get prepared going through this, and let's start with step one. So I always try to reflect and review on last week so I can try to understand what I did right and what I did wrong. So looking at last week, it was probably my best week ever, just with how I saw the markets given the conditions of all the tariff news and how unpredictable it could have been at times and how volatile it was at times. But I still saw it very consistently and very clean and very clear, as well as I also had just a very high win percentage and probably had my highest win rate and win percentage amount that I gained last week. So it's really interesting how that ended up playing out. And I think I really should stop trading like Wednesday. I was like 9 of 10 or 9 of 11 by the time I hit Wednesday. Caught a few more trades on Thursday, but I think I lost like 1 or 2 more extra, but I was still in the week with a really, really high win percentage, like probably well over 85% win percentage, and then of course a lot of percentage that I gained. So yeah, really good, solid week last week. We'll see what I can do this week. I'm going to try to follow that momentum, and yeah, just going to keep going after it. So that'll be it for step one. For step two, backtest and fine tune. So I have been backtesting a little bit this week. I'm going to do a little more backtesting because I'm been adding on some different confluences and testing some things out. So now that I'm just testing these things out, and I just want to go back and make sure I'm doing it correctly and understanding where it's stronger or weaker at. So I'm going to test those confluences out a little more after this video. Step 3 is to check the news and economic calendar, because you just want to understand what kind of week it's going to be. Like last week was a lot of high impact news, at least one thing every day. So it was a little chaotic. But this week, looking at it, we don't have any high impact news Monday. Tuesday will be one pre-market. Wednesday will be a lot of pre-market high impact news. Same for, well, actually the Fed speaking in the afternoon, so I'll make sure that I'm out of the market by then. Thursday, another high impact news day, but pre-market as well, and Friday's nothing, so nothing at least high impact wise. So that should be a pretty straightforward week outside of Wednesday when the Fed speaks. I'll probably be out of the market by then. But outside of that, should be a really straightforward week, just pre-market stuff. So you'll see like a spike around that time frame, then it'll cool off for about an hour after that's dropped, and then it'll probably reverse, and we'll try to catch some trades off of that. So it just kind of depends what happens with those. So it should be a straightforward week, and we'll see what we can produce. Step 4 is to analyze the higher time frame. I always like to jump up 1 or 2 time frames higher than what I normally trade, just so I can understand what's going to happen potentially this week or where price could be targeting. So I trade on the 15-minute usually as my higher time frame for my trades. So I'd like to jump up to the daily personally and just see what could potentially happen during the week or where price could head towards. So looking at it, we could potentially head towards a little higher and sweep this buy side liquidity here, or we probably could consolidate a little bit, just be an easy week since I want to really like those pre-near or pre-market high impact moves, or we could potentially even go further down and sweep this liquidity here or here as well. So we'll just see what happens. I'm thinking price will first at least push up to this area and sweep this liquidity, simply because the price is already in a already hit an area of interest, filling this imbalance here, this bullish imbalance. So I'm thinking it's just going to continue to push up a little bit more and potentially sweep this liquidity, and then before it starts to drop to the downside. We'll see what happens. The news should help drive price either one way or the other. So we'll see what happens when that happens or goes throughout the week. Next will be to write my weekly goals. So my weekly goal this week, since I just had a really crazy week last week, I just want to continue to be successful or consistent with how I've applied my new confluences that I've learned about this past week and a half. So I just want to continue to apply those and get more data on those and just apply them correctly. So that's pretty much it for me. It led to me to having a really profitable week last week, so I just want to make sure I'm doing it again correctly this week. And that's pretty much it for me, just getting that and journaling that correctly. Number 6 would be to write affirmations. So I always like to do affirmations to get you in the right headspace for the upcoming week. So I always at least do these 3, like I'm a consistent and profitable trader. I have faith in my desire, my trading ability. I'm a disciplined trader who follows my system fully. So you can do those 3. You can make up your own 3. You can type it out on your computer, do it on your notepad, do it in your journal, do it anywhere you can see it consistently, and just make sure you're in the right headspace to understand how you can trade successfully this upcoming week. And then number 7 would be to build your weekly watch list. So I only trade the NASDAQ, so I would have my alerts specifically, especially on these daily time frames or daily liquidity points here, like this one. And this one, I probably want to take a lot of action whenever it starts to reach up there. I believe there's another area of interest that kind of coincides with, but it's not really showing, is probably, I think there's a huge bearish imbalance in this area that right here that I actually want to take advantage of. Once it starts to sell, see sweeps this liquidity or sweep this liquidity here, breaks this, all these swing points, and then never touch back, at least to this one. So yeah, there's going to be an alert here for sure. Just put it right there for reference. An alert here, and probably even higher if we can mitigate some of this imbalances left behind as well. That would be really good and really key to start looking for sells from. So I'll send another alert at least here. Same kind of concept. Sweeps liquidity here, breaks this swing point, and never kind of returns back to it. So yeah, we'll be looking for sells for there, and I think that's it for now, because for now it's kind of playing off of this bullish imbalance. Maybe we can touch more continuations to the buy side. So kind of already in an alert and looking for higher alerts here to be set for sells to the downside. So we'll see what happens there. So yeah, I just make sure I set alerts and understand when price reaches certain levels, I know when to act, and I can make sure I'm catching the trade. And then number 8 will be to review your pre-trade checklist. So just making sure you're understanding what are the steps you need to go through before you get into a trade, and how are you going to go about that whole process. So since I'm learning more confluences, I need to make sure I'm reviewing my actual pre-trade checklist, such as like looking at like the 15-minute for looking for the sweeps of liquidity, the breaking of the swing points, and then looking at imbalance being left behind. And then once it gets to like the 1 minute, looking for like the AMD model, making sure I'm going with the trend, making sure I'm looking for the correct wave sequence it's in. And then looking at certain things, like I can look at an SMA, or I can look at how the trend is forming, certain candle patterns. So those are pretty much what I'm going to have to review for this week, those extra confluences that some that I mentioned. I'll probably have to break down a video of me backtesting this, or just actually applying it and showing all the different confluences I'm now looking for. So that's just what I'm going to have to probably do later. But that would be my updated pre-trade checklist of most of the things I'm looking for. So with that, I'll go ahead and wrap the video up here. Be sure to like and subscribe, and let's have a good trading week. I'll see you guys in the Market Mentors Discord community.